Give me some more wine. Hold on. I might have to film like this all the time. I kind of like this lighting. All right, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl, Antonia. And girl, let's talk. This all started with a DM from one of my friends, and she was just like, "Hey, girl, I want to know your opinion. I've been dating a guy for X amount of time. I really do love him. This is probably the first guy I've loved. The guy was supposed to propose to her at a certain period, and pretty much he told her he wasn't going to propose, but he still wanted to be with her and spend the rest of his life with her. But he did not follow up on when exactly he would propose. Now, just background on said friend, and this is no shade to said friend, but said friend has always been very big on getting married. And I feel like a lot of women are. And so I wanted to make this video in response to the whole ultimatum debacle. So let's get into it. One of the first things I want to bring up personally, and it's a question that I really want to answer to, but why do as women we feel like marriage is the only purpose or the said end all be all for our existence? Why do we as women feel like being a wife and being a mom and having kids, as fulfilling as that is the only reason why we're put on this earth? Which then follows up to, at what point did marriage become the mission instead of just being a part of your life? I would love to know your thoughts. Please leave comments down below. And I asked the question because I feel like for me personally, I had the same outlook. What was truly going to bring fulfillment in my life was this thought of me being a wife and a mom. And it's not to say that I don't want that. That's not what I'm saying at all. I think marriage is beautiful. I think being a mother is beautiful. And honestly, I cannot wait until God blesses me with the opportunity to be in a position to be such things. However, what I am removing is this thought that I need that to feel complete and worthy and chosen. And it's the purpose that I'm here for. I'm now of the belief that marriage should add to your life, not be the entire ecosystem of it. It shouldn't be the thing that says you're valuable as a woman. I feel like society has really put that on us real bad. You talk to a lot of women, you talk to a lot of girls, and I don't know at what point this was conditioned. Maybe it came back in the days where women didn't really have rights and we just had to depend on a man. So being married to a man was just that one step to say that, oh, okay, because you could actually do stuff after that. But we don't live in that time anymore. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like women should be sticking around in these relationships, waiting on a guy to do this, tolerating that, and all of the things out of the sake of you want a ring. There's just so much more to life outside of men, outside of being married, outside of having kids. And it's no shade to the people that are married and have kids. There are beautiful marriages out there. Do not get me wrong. I am not throwing stones at that idea, but I am throwing stones at the fact that we as women have to depend on that vision for our life to mean something or for us to feel happy and fulfilled. And what's interesting to me is that as women are taught that marriage is so valuable, but if you listen amongst the men, a lot of them talk about, hey, don't get married. They don't see the purpose and they don't see the benefits for them. And we wonder why the divorce rates are so high. Men are taught to get money. And then once they get money, they can have all the women in the world. Now, I'm not going to say that's all men because I feel like there are a lot of men who are out here, or at least I'm of the belief that there are a lot of men out here who really value marriage and the idea of it and things like that. But it's not the vast majority, though. I will say that. And I think a truth that I've come to in regards to this is, as a woman, I don't need to be a wife and a mom to have a full life. I can have a full life outside of that and still make something beautiful. But I just don't want to base my identity around it anymore. I'm so much more than just being somebody's wife and somebody's mother. Those are just additional titles that I plan to carry outside of who I already am. And you know what? Every time someone brings up the whole marriage thing and wanting to be married, one question I have to ask is why? Is it because society told you? Is it because your parents are pressuring you? You see your friends getting married, so you want to get married too? Is it because you like the idea of having a ring and having the wedding with the dress and all of those things? Is it because you want to look like you've achieved something and you've reached a certain status? Is it because you want to feel chosen and validated? You actually are worthy of something? What's your reason? Is it love and companionship? What's your reason for wanting to be married? Because I feel like if it's any of the superficial stuff, then you're not even doing marriage for what marriage is supposed to be and what it's created here for. Because for me, if you're going at it from I'm doing it to feel chosen, I'm doing it to feel validated, just to showcase I'm a trophy, I'm a prize, baby. For me personally, I don't know about you, but for me personally, I'm a prize without the ring. And that's on no cocky shit. I'm not even trying to be overconfident on that. It's just that I just understand my value as a person. I understand my value as a woman. And the right guy is just gonna come along and he's gonna recognize that and it's gonna be no questions. I'm not gonna have to pressure nobody to do anything. I'm not gonna have to give an ultimatum to who I marry. Y'all just so focused on being tied down to one man and one guy. And again, I'm not shading it because I desire to be tied down to one man and one guy too. But until the right one man, one guy comes about, I might have me about 4 or 5 boyfriends, and I'm not mad at that. May the best man win. When you really recognize your value as a woman and what you can contribute, and let me be clear on that. I see a lot of talk about being a Proverbs 31 woman. And unless you're actually actively working towards being a Proverbs 31 woman and you're just saying, oh, you want this type of guy, XYZ, but you're not doing any work on yourself as a woman to be able to hold and contain that. You're absolutely right. It's about that in my bad, Chat GPT talking that shit to me, girl. But you heard what she said. Okay, get into it. And honestly, to be fair, and I'm just speaking for me personally, even if God decides not to bless me with a husband and kids and stuff like that, I'm a-okay. But I think that's just because I'm comfortable with myself and I recognize my value outside of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay with my 4 or 5 boyfriends. I might pick one of them to have some kids with and we'd be cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm really just talking shit. But to be fair, if marriage is not in the cards for me, that just might be what it is. And look at Tracy Ellis Ross. Sister look good. Look at Maya. Maya looks great. She lives a very peaceful life. I'm saying one thing that I see specifically with marriages is marriages can be exhausting. For me personally, I don't want to be an exhausted wife. I don't want to be an exhausted mom. You know what I'm saying? I want to enjoy nurturing my household. I want to enjoy taking care of my kids. I want to enjoy being a wife to my husband. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to feel like sex is a chore. I don't want to wake up every morning and be like, oh, I got to take care of this. No. If I'm going to be a wife and a mom, I feel like that should be as easy in my life as everything else. And if it's not, I don't want it. And that's not to say we're not going to have problems and issues. I mean, conflicts arise and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's easy. The family unit that we're building and what we're curating for our children and the legacy that we're building, it feels good. I'm not stressed. I'm not feeling like it's a chore. I'm not feeling like I've lost myself or all of these other things that happen in these marriages. I want my marriage to feel good. And if it's not going to feel good, I don't want it. And I bring all this to say, I just feel like there's no need to pressurize these men to do it. If he wanted to, he would. And I don't feel like you should have to ask. I don't feel like you should have to give an ultimatum to a man. I don't feel like you should have to pressure him to do anything because if he wants to do it, he would. Definitely mention it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying withhold your desires. If there's something that you desire and you don't know if he's aware that you desire that, let him know. But it's up to him to make the choice to want to fulfill that desire for you. And if he doesn't, then that's your answer. And to be honest, I know people talk about the timeline and things like that. And that's true. I do feel like you should have a timeline for a relationship with someone. But another thing I want to be cautious too when it comes to them is I feel like a lot of them just want to be financially secure. And if you're dating a guy who's just not where he wants to be in life, then baby, the chances of getting a ring with that man, no shade. And it's not to say that you're not going to be able to get one with him. It just may not be on your timeline. And that's something that y'all have to discuss. And that's also something that I think men should be more open about. Like, if you understand that, hey, I love a woman, I want to be with her, you need to explain why you're hesitant and why things may not go as quickly as she would like. Maybe she'll be understanding. And as a woman, if you're not understanding of it, then hell, get the hell on. For me, it's one thing to know what you want and know what you desire. It's another to pressure someone into fulfilling that vision for you. Someone's either going to willingly do that with no questions asked and it's just going to come to you happily with no pressure. Or if you are pressuring it and forcing it, it's probably not for you anyway, ladies. I'm just being honest. For me, I think when you're pressuring a guy or forcing a guy or on a guy about marrying you or something like that, is it almost comes off as you want your desirability validated. You want them to prove your worth and how worthy you are. You want them to make you feel chosen. But you can validate your own desirability. You can make yourself feel chosen. You can showcase your own worth. You don't have to prove your worth to nobody as long as you know what your worth is. And the right person is going to recognize that, and you're not going to have to prove anything, honestly. You can't force a man or anyone give you something so you can feel good about yourself. You need to feel good about yourself because you feel good about yourself, not because somebody else or a man is doing something externally to prove that to you. Don't outsource your confidence. And just to go back to a question that I asked you guys earlier of why you want marriage, I'll go ahead and be candid and tell you why I want it. Reverence. I feel like marriage, if you look at it in the Bible, it's off of the strength of reverence. If you look at Proverbs 31, is it verse 29? Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. That means the man is out here and he's like, there's some nice women out here. There's some good women out here, but ain't nobody fucking with you. And that's why I'm good on everybody else. It's just a certain sense of reverence. And I feel like if your man doesn't feel that way about you, for me personally, I don't want it. If my man doesn't feel a sense of reverence for who I am as a woman, keep it. If I'm not your dream girl, keep it. If you don't feel like I'm the piece of the rib that God took and made me out of from you, I don't want it. Keep it. God damn, girl, you looking like a wife. You looking like a wife. The guy for me, the man for me, my husband, I'm not going to have to remind him about anything. I don't need to force a timeline on him. He doesn't need a fear of losing me to act. He see the material. He already know what's going on. I'm not getting a shut up ring. But that's because he know I'm one of one. And yeah, some other women out here that do noble things, but baby, they ain't touching you. And I'll say this again. I don't want a marriage that feels like work. I just don't. My husband is providing, leading, protecting. He's doing all those things because he genuinely wants to. I don't have to tell him to do that. He genuinely wants to, and he finds a fulfillment in that just because of who I am as a woman. I'm coming home, I'm nurturing our home, I'm tending to our children, I'm still handling my own personal business, and I also have a life and a identity outside of my family. But at the end of the day, we're building a home and we're building a legacy together, and it feels easeful. And it's not out of submitting from obligation. I'm submitting and being submissive to him because he's leading with the energy of reverence that makes me want to do such things. Sex ain't gonna be a chore for me in my household. I might come home and hunch my man every day. Taking care of my kids aren't gonna feel like a burden to me. Oh, these kids, no. I'm not gonna have that energy. And we don't need to argue. We don't need to yell. We don't need to fight over bills. We don't need to compete, be insecure, worry about how we're going to do this, how we're going to do that. It's just teamwork. If we disagree on something, cool. We just disagreeing. We agreeing to disagree. But it's a respect there for both parties. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about my man going. My man can go out with his boys. My husband can go out with his boys. He may say hey to somebody. That's about all you gonna get though. Cause he know what's at that house. Okay. Quiet as it's killed. My man isn't gonna be able to be tempted by temptation. And that's not to say temptation's not gonna exist for him, but all right. You a baddie. Sure. You not my wife though. So it's all good. I give you a compliment. You look good, but I ain't got nothing else for you. And it's not out of fear. It's just out of respect and reverence for me. And I want to be clear on this too. The only reason I'm able to articulate such a vision and what I have for myself is because I'm working on becoming a woman that can actually hold it. And that's the key to being able to get a relationship or a marriage like that. Again, it's not a guarantee that what I'm saying is going to come out as perfect as I'm describing it and all of the things, but I bet you God to give me something similar because he knows I understand what he built marriage for. and what it's supposed to look like. And he knows that I'm working to become a woman that can hold that vision every day. So if you're not working on becoming the woman to achieve the type of man that you're asking for, that's probably where you need to start. And maybe you won't have to pressure and give a man an ultimatum on marrying you, because he will see you and see that material, and it's gonna be no questions asked. I ultimately though, I think we as women have to find more of a comfort in being single and being whole and being established and happy and fulfilled with our life outside of this external need to be chosen to be somebody's wife and or mother. Again, it's not to say that those things aren't beautiful, that they're not desirable, that they don't bring fulfillment and things of that sort. But for me personally, and I'm strictly speaking for me personally, that's just not my whole life. That's not my identity. Whenever that time comes for me to experience it, I'll accept it gratefully and be thankful for it. But until then, I'm happy and fulfilled on my own being single. Speaking of which, I got a couple Kappas, and I like being in Kappa land. I don't know, something about them Kappas. They just love me. They love a sister. But let me tell you something. I'm trying to go over to that dog pound, trying to see if it's a dog trying to get adopted from that pound. So if y'all know any dogs that are interested in being adopted, y'all definitely let me know, because I'm trying to see what they talking about. You know what I'm saying? Kappa land's cute. I like being over there. They treat me really well, but I'm a dog mom. So trying to see what the dogs talking about. The zoo is cool. I've been to the zoo a couple times, but I ain't been to the pound yet. So y'all let me know who accepting applications for adoption. So that shit funny. So, ladies, I want to wrap this up. I want to wrap this talk up by saying I don't think that you should be adhering your worth to whether you're chosen, validated, or needed by a man. For me personally, I just don't feel like marriage is the entire mission of our existence. I feel like becoming a whole woman and being the woman God designed you to be is. I really want you to think about your reasoning for why you want to be married and why that exists for you. Again, not saying that you shouldn't, but I just feel like your identity, who you are as a person, your security, your sense of being as a woman should not be wrapped around that ideal. Because, in my opinion, putting pressure on somebody isn't love, reverence is. And when a man reveres you in such a way, you're not going to have to pressure him to do anything. So that's my TED talk for today, y'all. I might end up doing a part two for this video. I touched on what I wanted to touch on, but I feel like I didn't touch on everything. So if you would like a part two of this video, definitely let me know down in the comments. And ladies, don't put your value and your worth up against these men. You're the prize. Please remember that. So in the meantime, between time, I'll see y'all next time. And yeah, bye.